From Knit Happens Teesside for the first week of 2025. Only the news is there is no news because there was no knitting on Thursday. Fee is still not very well and Helen is also not very well now, and Jill was having a terrible time with her elderly doggy, who I'm afraid Roger is no longer with us. So, what did I do instead? I can't remember. I think I went to the gym, which is something that she should probably do because she's kind of falling apart. Dolly Daydream, she's very lazy. Right, what have I done? I've wound some wool, which is the Dundaga Latvian wool that is washed in a mountain lake. Advice is to wash it again. So that is what I have done. Whoops. There's a crazy cat been diving around, but I think she might have finished now. It's very, I think it would be, it's like a single ply, and I think it would be a woolen spun. It's very woolly, very boingy and very lovely. But I haven't started anything with it yet because I do have to finish things I've already started, really, don't I? So one thing that I have started probably this week, I'm not sure if I showed you last week, in this book by the lady Elizabeth Zimmerman, who revolutionised construction of garments, really. I mean, this is newsletters 1958 to 1968. I'm making the surprise jacket, which is like, it has corners in funny places, and it's for, well, what happened last Sunday night at 11:31. A little baby was born. A very little baby was born, who's only £4.11. But babies often lose a bit of weight in the first week, don't they? But this one hasn't. I don't think she could afford to. So I'm now a grandma, officially. A knitting grandma. So the surprise jacket is all knit in one piece. Kind of from the top. But the way it folds around, and typically I have run out of yarn and I only have a buttonhole row to do, and then about 6 rows of garter stitch. But this is a similar or same wool, and I thought, because I haven't got a cream that's quite that creamy. All the creams, I've had a look, all the creams that I've got are a little bit more pale. So I thought a proper contrast might look better than trying to actually match it, if you know what I mean. Right, I'm just going to prop that there because I think I'm too gaudily. Oh, that's a little bit better, isn't it? Right, so that bit's a sleeve. Obviously in the middle of a row. The seam that you do sew at the end is the shoulder seam, like so. Anyway, it should be done for next week and then I'll be able to show you. I am wearing, not quite sure what the pattern's called, but it's by Emma Wright and she designed for West Yorkshire Spinners. and they brought out a ring-bound book of designs, and this was in there, and I have shown it before. So it's made with West Yorkshire Spinners Illustrious, which is 70% Falkland wool and 30% British alpaca. And the one that changes colour with a really nice graduation, which is this one, which is 078260195. I do think it's really nice when companies go to the trouble of actually naming their colours and putting the names of their colours on their ball bands. I know you need a dye lot, but wouldn't a colour be nice? Because it will have a colour, it's just not on the ball band. So this cardigan's very warm. So it's a double knit weight, and yeah, it's very warm. I started to wear this when I started to get hot flushes, and I thought it was a bit thick. And it was cardi on, cardi off, cardi on, cardi off. And then I realised it was hot flushes. It wasn't that the cardigan was too warm for the weather. Right then, I don't think I've got very much to tell you about this week, apart from that. I did sew some squares together, but I haven't really... I think they're quite textural. I'll have a look. Somehow I just don't think so. I think I look a little bit like a tortoise. It may become something else. It's hard to say. This isn't all the squares. I have some more. But yeah, I have not decided what to do with this. And I still don't know what the pattern is. So hopefully for the second week of 2025, things will be a little bit better, and people will be a little bit better. That's a cat. Hopefully everything will be fine, and we'll all meet up on Thursday. So this weekend, just this morning really, we've had some snow, and I know there will be snow in some places, but it's just cold and wet here because I'm right on the coast, so it's just wet and windy. No snow to play with. When I was knitting away for baby, I did think that some of the things were going to be too small, and now it's a good job she's got them. So let's see what she's wearing when she turns up today. Not for cats. Like that. Still funny. I have this, but it's not strong enough to hold this skein, so I'm going to do this hand winding, and then I will get my wool binder out. What are you doing? Good evening from a very wet and windy, same day as I was recording earlier. Quite a few hours later. Things didn't go to plan. The royal visit didn't go ahead. But therefore, I got a little cardigan finished off very, very nearly. Isn't that just lovely? And I actually think it's going to fit her. It was made, it was started at this end, across here, and then decreases were made to there, and then increases were made, and then there's an even more interesting little bit there. And yes, I ran out of cream wool, but that does not matter because I thought the pink went really nice, and it probably will fit her, and it probably will fit her doll when she's finished with it. So I'm quite pleased with that one. That's taken me probably a week of not knitting, not very much knitting time, should we say. I forgot to mention earlier about the Durham Guild of Spinners, Weavers and Dyers. Now, they had a special meeting of little workshops. There was 3 or 4 different tables, and they were concentrating on woven textiles. So I didn't take a whole lot of photographs, but there was somebody setting up a warp, but with I think they must be making a scarf or something, because it's kind of a boucle warp, so not like a stable woven fabric, probably quite drapey when it's taken off. And then there was a few bookmarks and things like that. And then there was braid weaving, and like some really small rigid heddles, and books full of colourful illustrations and designs for you to follow if you were to do that. I have done some weaving in the past when I was at university, and I did enjoy it, and it was on a huge treadle loom with the shuttle shot from one side to the other when you press the pedal, and really enjoyed that. But I don't feel inspired to do much weaving, really. I should probably have a go, because if I have a go at something, I just get carried away with it. Usually, I joined the Guild of Spinners, Weavers and Dyers because I've owned a spinning wheel for about 15 years, and I own various sewing machines and things like that, and I grow an affinity with all of them and like them all and like using them, and I'm quite happy. But I found with the spinning wheel, I don't know if it's just because if I produce more wool, more yarn, I'm adding to the stash that's already not in need of being added to, but I suppose I could sell some of it or give some away. It's either that or I'm not made for spinning, really. Or I was toying with having a go with a different wheel. So I put some feelers out and asked on some Facebook pages about different spinning wheels, and can say that really most of the advice was, I have a very good wheel. It's an Ashford Joy, and it should be good enough to do anything that I want to do, to spin any yarn I want to spin. I really kind of want to spin 4-ply and even lace if I got that good at spinning a fine yarn. Haven't actually got any here to show you. At the moment I'm spinning alpaca, but the whole reason I joined the guild was to do more spinning. So really, if I don't get any done within the month, that's when I choose to do some spinning. So I didn't do a workshop. This is very long-winded, isn't it? I didn't do a workshop. I decided to take my wheel as usual and carry on, because I think also it could be a matter of hours that are spent. If I spend enough hours with my spinning wheel, because I have enjoyed it in the past, I might get more of an affinity with it and become more fond of it. So that's the plan. Also the plan is, now the fleece, I think it's alpaca, and it's just kind of a beige colour, and it's very beautiful, and I will probably like to knit it. But also to inspire me, I'm going to have a look in my fleece stash for something colourful that I've bought previously that I couldn't resist the beautiful colours of. So that's the plan for the spinning when I've finished with what I'm doing now. Or should I break off, go and do something else and then come back to it? I need to spin enough so that I've got so much on each reel. And next time I do it, I need to weigh 2 halves so that it's more even, so I don't ply and then run out of one of my plies, which is what I did before. So that's the Durham Guild of Spinners, Weavers and Dyers, and unfortunately I drove there and back with no windscreen wipers. Because it was a frosty start, I was assured that they would start working once they'd defrosted, but they didn't.
So when I got back, my husband was trying to fix them, and he got things back on, and then they were stopping them down in the up position. And so it was a combination of me having a look about to try and find out what position everything should be in. And neither worked, because the only thing that was wrong with them was a loose nut. Because we thought the motor had gone, because that's what would go on, or a fuse. And it was neither of those, it was just
A loose nut. Plenty of them about. So now I think I've told you everything. And Princess visit's imminent, so I'll finish this off later, and who knows, she might even try it on. So more news, maybe next week.